Hello, welcome to the Knitting Project. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. This is episode 134 and today is Sunday the 15th of January 2023. Welcome if you are a new viewer, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh well, it's been a while, hasn't it? I looked back and the last time I did a proper podcast was September. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I realised last year was that the end of last year was pretty crazy, but I didn't realise it was quite that crazy. So I'm back. I'm back on project. I have lots of things to share with you. So probably best to grab a cuppa and a project for this one. Yeah, it feels a bit odd doing this. I've been so used to vlogging that it feels a bit strange. So I will get into like things that have been happening at the end, and I'm going to hit kind of the crafting stuff first because that's what I'm excited to share with you. If you are new here, and I'm fairly certain that since September I've picked up 1 or 2 new people, the knitting project was born out of a necessity to get through all my numerous amounts of whips. The idea is that I do a rolling rotation of whips over 6 days, so you're going to have to bear with me as to what the days are because I do need to look them up because they have changed this year. So day 1 is socks, and that's socks for me. Day 2 is baby knits. Day 3 is garment. Day 4 is gift making, not necessarily knitting. Day 5 are socks for Charlie. And day 6 are scrappy projects. And looking at that, it's very sock heavy this episode. I'm also doing a little bit on a other project every morning, which we have the square a day KAL, which I haven't kicked off yet, but we will run that again this year. I know I have done no prizes for last year whatsoever. I'm going to try and pick that up by doing a prize like a week for the next few weeks and sort that out. So the rotation is over 6 days, not 7, because I'm busier on some days than others. So for instance, on a Tuesday I'm a guide leader, I do guides, and if I only had a project that happened on a Tuesday, it would hardly get any work on it because I hardly get time to knit on a Tuesday. But because it rotates over 6 days, the Tuesday that week would then become the Monday the following week where I've got more time to knit. So that's why it's the rolling rotation. There's a couple of reasons I rotate. Number 1, I'm a squirrel and I need the variety. But number 2, I have arthritis in my hands, and if I knit it on the same project all the time, it upsets my arthritis. Which I realise with this rotation of projects is not going to be helped because most of them are not 2.5mm needles. So I might have to swap some bits and pieces out for that, but we'll see. We'll get on with it at the moment. Right, so let's go into the project. I have a coffee with me, which I am hanging out in a Remembrance Pottery sock mug from Les Family Yarn. Right, so day 1 is socks for me, which is this project, and that's hanging out in a Sherry Iris embroidered bag. It's one of my first Sherry Iris bags. Love this bag. And these are my Christmas socks for this year. This was from a set which was Christmas in July from Jules of So Sweet Violet, and she did it as a collab with Kate Celine, and this is the gingerbread colourway. As you can see, I've just done a plain vanilla sock. I've done a 2x2 twisted rib, slip stitch, heel flap, garter ridge, heel turn, and then just a wedge toe. So I've done sock 1, and I am on literally decreasing the toe on the second sock now. For various reasons, I have had a lot of hospital knitting over the last few week, and I got a lot of this done. I wasn't expecting to get as much done of it as I did, so I got a lot of this done. So I'm anticipating the next time you see this, it'll be a finished object, and I can choose some different socks for me, which will be exciting. I'm using 2.5mm wooden licky needles. I do love a wooden needle, and they are a bit softer on my hands. And did I show you that? That's how the yarn's been balled up. But they're just plain vanilla. They're really useful to have in my handbag. They kind of fit in there to grab and go when I need to. But they have been moved to day one my socks. So that's day one my socks. Oh, I don't know where I'm going to put these things when I finish. I'm so out of practice, I'm sorry. So day two is baby knits. So some of these I haven't moved out of Christmas project bags yet. I will do. But they haven't quite moved yet. So this was a lovely project bag from, again, Jules of So Sweet Violet. And I am knitting the newborn baby socks by the Hey Sister Yarn Company. I'm making a little set of these. Kate's already had the first lot, and I'm making them out of the dandelion and dogwood. Sorry about the shadowing, I can't do anything about that unfortunately. Mini skein set, and this is the bottle brush Christmas tree set, because these colours are very much Kate's nursery colours. So I'm making her some matching baby socks. So I've finished the first little sock, and I've just done the ribbed version on this one. The other one I did was a cable version, but this is just a ribbed version. So that's sock one. And I have just cast on and started ribbing sock two. So there's a little bumper cast on there. And I'm using 2.5mm chalky needles on this one. So yeah, it's just a tiny little cast on. These don't take me long. I can do them in a day without any trouble whatsoever. They're so cute, aren't they? The really scary thing is that these are actually too big for her. She's so tiny. She was just £6 when she was born, so she's really tiny. So even the newborn stuff is big on her. Bless her little cotton socks, or woolen socks as the case might be. So yeah, I'm really enjoying those. It's got a little bit of sparkle in it as well. And I'd recommend that pattern. They're really good and they do fit. That's the main kind of thing, isn't it, behind it? So that's day two baby knits. Now day three is over there. I was like, where's it gone? It's there. Again, it's still in a Christmas bag. Again, it's a So Sweet Violet bag. I will move this out at some point in the near future. So this is a garment. I haven't got the pattern to show you, annoyingly. That is annoying. But this is the Perec vest, which is spelled, where is it? P-E-R-E-C. I don't know who it's by. That was a mistake, wasn't it? Bear with me, I'll just look that up. Let's have a quick look. It's a lovely pattern. It's literally just a vest. If you watch my lovely friend Kelly of Lay Family Yarn, you will have seen it on her wearing it on her podcast, because it is gorgeous. Elaine Sushi, or Sachi, could be Sachi actually, S-U-C-C-H-E, and it is absolutely lovely. Let's see if I can get a picture of it up on this. It's not a very good picture, to be fair. So when I was at the Woolay retreat, I bought a set, and it's 2 balls of floof, which is her Surrey alpaca, and 1 ball of lace weight. And I have done mine slightly different from the pattern, only in as far as I have put the neck and the sleeve bands on, armbands, on now, so I can just keep knitting away on the body for as long as I want to. So if I run out of yarn, then I've finished, kind of thing. I do need to do a little rib at the bottom, but obviously I presume I will notice that I'm going to run out of yarn and I will add the rib. But it's really pretty, and I don't mind if this is really long, because I'm thinking if I wear this over jeans, over a jumper or anything, it will look lovely. Yeah, I really like this. I am going to move my progress keeper down now. I have got a little sheep progress keeper from Simply Serving. Again, I got from Kelly, Flay Family Yarn. And she's really cute. I'm going to move her down now so that I can show you the actual progress that I've made when I'm done with this. But yeah. So yeah, so I moved it down so you can actually see it if I've made progress next week. But I love it. I love the fabric that is created. Now I'm using 4.5mm needles. The pattern calls for 4mm needles. I don't mind it's a very loose gauge because obviously I am wearing it over something else. I wouldn't wear it on its own. And I'll be honest and say I was really impatient to cast it on at the retreat, and they were the only needles I had with me that would work. So we went with it. Yeah, I think it's coming out beautifully. Can't wait to wear it. It's so pretty. Oh, I love it. So that's the Parak vest. It's really easy construction. The pattern's amazing. She holds your hand every step of the way, so you can just you just get on with it. If you've not knit a garment before, and you want to start off with something easy, I wouldn't knit those two together. I'd just do this in a DK, and I'm definitely going to make myself a DK one. But I would start off with this because the construction of it is really clever. It's really easy to follow. It is definitely a beginner friendly pattern, but as I said, I probably wouldn't use those two together just because wrangling two yarns is a bit more difficult if you've not done it before. But if you're used to knitting with two yarns together, obviously this is the garment for you. Yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying working on it as well. It's a day I look forward to rolling round. So that's day 3, isn't it? Garment day. Oh, I've got storage bags for all my Christmas project bags. I just need to get myself sorted out and moved back into my normal bags. So that's day 3, garment day. How are we doing time wise? Doing all right. Day 4. So day 4 is gift, knitting, crafting, whatever I'm doing. And this at the moment is an embroidery project, and it's living in this beautiful little pouch that a lovely viewer of the podcast sent me. And this is from the Stitchery. It is a Christmas project. It's a Scandinavian tree. Oh, it's beautiful. And I am crocheting it. No, I'm not. I'm embroidering it. Oh dear, I'm sorry guys, that's how out of practice it is. I am embroidering. I'm embroidering this for a friend. Not too sure what happened there. Seem to have an end that possibly shouldn't be there. It does look a little bit messy because I've still got my knots in 2 places, but that's what I'm doing. It's a really easy pattern actually. It's a really easy embroidery. I'm very new to embroidery. I say that I've been doing it for 3 years now, but I haven't mastered it by any stretch of the imagination. I have got a Nikki Franklin beginner's embroidery course, which I've got on my portal on Nikki Franklin's website. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet. I probably should make that a goal for 2023. But yes, isn't that lovely? I'm going to send it to my friend unfinished so she can decide what she wants to do with it. and it was supposed to be a Christmas present, but oh my goodness, did I miss with Christmas presents this year. Life got so busy. And I mean, you saw my Vlogmas. If you watch Vlogmas, you will know we had a new addition to the household, and that new addition, and it's not the baby, has caused a wee bit of chaos, shall we say, over the last few weeks. So yeah, Christmas presents went out of the way, but I'm hoping to get them all finished now and just sort of send them as New Year presents. But yeah, this is one of them. So that's my gift knitting at the moment, but it's gift embroidery. I've called that project knitting. I've called it crochet. Oh, that's so funny. Embroidery. And I do love the Licky Franklin kits. You get everything you need. That's the thread in there. I need to put that thread, and I found some bobbins now onto there. And then that's what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. Whether mine actually will or not is another matter. And this is from her advent from last year. But it's all living. I love this. For the small projects, I love this little pouch. So that's that. At some point I'll keep my embroidery, because the two kits I've completed, both of them I've gifted to other people. That's funny, isn't it? At some point I'll keep it. I'll keep my sampler if I ever finish it. So that's day 4, gift knitting. Day 5, it's in this one I think, is my socks for Charlie. Now Charlie is my middle daughter, who you don't see very often on my vlogs or podcasts. She's my shy one. 4 years ago, I think it was now, she had very cold feet, and I said to her, it's a real shame you don't like knitted socks. And she was like, Mum, you've never made me any. I was like, have I really not? So that year, that was in the December, conveniently, so the following year I knit her a pair of socks a month. So I did socks for Charlie every month. Excuse me, I'm just going to turn the sound off on my computer. Oh dear. How do you mute it? There we go. So yeah, so I knit her a pair of socks every month. Over the course of the last 3 years, sisters have borrowed them. One's gone for a little walk on a holiday somewhere else, and she's not got as many anymore. And we had a horrendous situation last year when we had the really cold weather. She was wandering around with not much on her feet, and one of her toes was the bluest I've ever seen in my life. To the point I whipped my woolen socks off and put them on her feet, because obviously they were already warm. And I've decided that I'm going to do her a sock a month again, hopefully. Around about a sock a month anyway. So the current project is living in here, which is my Sherry Iris project bag from the Advent, the Sherry Iris Advent this year. Oh, that was such a beautiful Advent. And I haven't got the ball band for this, which I'm really annoyed about. I don't know where it's gone, but this is the last Grinbad collection from Woolly Goodness. This was the December one, and it is in one of my vlogs, and it's called Skating with Penguins, I think, and it's beautiful. Now Charlie is penguin at guiding, and she has a lifelong love of penguins. So it seemed so appropriate to start her first sock, the first Charlie sock, in, and that was the contrasting mini, in that colourway. So again, these are, so Sweet Violet, B Needle Keeper. Again, these are 2.5mm chugger needles, and I have just got a little, what appears to be 1x1 twisted rope cast on there. These are only going, this is only a 50 gram, so these are going to have to be shorties. They're going to be like little ankle socks rather than trainer socks, but it's a stellina base, so it's all sparkly as well. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to see how this knits up. And today is the Socks for Charlie day. Today is day 4. So I purposely arranged the knitting project so that these would fall today because it's a Sunday, because I need to get them done by the end of January. So this week it will have it on a Sunday, next week will be a Saturday, and the following week will be a Friday. So I'll have 3 like days where I don't work. where I'll be able to get on with these. So I might, if I'm lucky, get these done. And when I'm editing this, I get quite a bit of knitting time while I'm editing. Do we have to? Oh, honestly, don't they know I'm recording? So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing those. So this is day 5, socks for Charlie. I'm just going to do plain. I'm not going to do a pattern just because I really want to get these done, and I mean, she won't mind whether they're patterned or not. Okay, I'm going to apologise. I'm really sorry. My neighbour has started doing some work outside in his garden, that side, and I don't know if you can hear that. It's really close to the window. But this is my only opportunity, so we're going to crack on, and we're not far off now, are we? So we're on to the final day of the rotation anyway. So that's day 6, scrappy project days. And again, that's still living in. Well, here's a question. Would you class this as a Christmas bag? I think it was released as a Christmas bag, but can we not have robins all year round? And it keeps going away, and I love it, and it's a Craft House Magic bag, and I just love my little robin, and I never use it because I just don't get around to doing it in Christmas. So I think we're going to decide that robins are for life, not just for Christmas. So this bag is coming into general rotation. So in here I have the biggest mess and tangle you're ever likely to see, and I am doing as my let's just put it that way, as my scrappy project. So day 6 the scrappy project, I'm doing an advent project, which is the 24 days socks by Potter and Bloom. They look a bit like that, and I'm doing this out of my collaboration advent, which is arranged by Helen from Giddy Yarns, and it has all different dyers in it, and I'm knitting these concurrently. So I've got up to day 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on day 5 on that sock. I thought originally you did 2 rows of these colours, but it's not, it's only 1. So I've did 2 rows at the top, and then I've swapped to the ones on there. I've done a 1x1 twisted rib, which is what it's called for in the pattern. And again, I'm doing it on 2.5mm, and those are Chalgu needles. And my grey is, it's in the pattern, it's a white. I've just gone for a grey because I had this in stash, and it is a Giddy Yarns that Helen kindly dyed for me to go with my Christmas blanket, and I had a yarn, a skein left over, so I'm using it for this, and it's, yeah, as you can tell, falling to pieces. So that's obviously the one on. It gets worse, you actually see it on this side, but no, just one giant tangle. So these ones, it's because I'm knitting from the middle and the, because I'm doing it concurrently, I'm knitting it from the middle and the outside, and it's just tangling. So this I've got a bit further forward on, and again I've got the two there, so I've done them the same, and then I'm on, so that's day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm on day 8 there. I have no idea why one's so far behind the other. I'm sure if I watch my Vlogmas back there's a reasonable explanation, but I have absolutely no idea. And the rest of this advent is currently hanging out in the So Sweet Violet advent hanger I had that was on the lounge, on the wall in the lounge, on the wall in here, because I didn't want to move it out of the numbers because it already had the numbers on it. However, I may have solved that problem later on in the podcast. You will see, that's in acquisitions. But yeah, these, I love these socks. They're really pretty. So yeah, I need to get on with these. But again, they are more socks. I'm sorry, it's all about the socks, isn't it? I hadn't realised when I worked out the knitting project how sock heavy it was. But we all love a sock, don't we? Yeah, so that's that one, and as I said, this is a Craft House Magic bag. So that's the end of the rotation. My blanket is living in my sheep bucket, which was a present from my lovely friend Kelly of Lay Family Yarn. And in here I am doing the Curious Handmade habitation throw, which looks a bit like that, which was from a knit vent, but I'm not sure which knit vent, if I'm honest, but it's one of the knit vents. But also it's available as a standalone pattern now, and I'm using the 2021 clubs from Woolly Goodness. So I decided it was going to be long enough. Where's my corner? There's my corner. It's quite wide. It's wider than my wingspan. So that's the first corner. So pretty. I love this. I particularly love that section there. Oh, that mini, that blue mini there. It's just gorgeous. So I decided it was long enough, so that's my corner. So from there all the way along to there is one side. So I am now decreasing because I thought it would make a really lovely tummy time blanket for Ira when she's here. So I'm decreasing on it, and I'm trying to do 2 rows a day in the morning as my square a day. So when we say square a day, it's very the rules are very loose. So yeah, I'm trying to do 2 rows each morning to get this off the needles, and now I'm decreasing. I'm assuming it's going to work quite quickly. I've got a lot of the boxes that these minis come in stored in a cupboard, in a cube behind me, and I'm thinking it's about time I kind of use some of this yarn that I'm squirreling away. Just moving my progress keepers up. That is a Corner of Craft one, which is cute, so that I can show you progress next week. Hopefully I will have some. And then let's give you an idea of the mini set. This was March 2021's. That was the inspiration picture, and came with a little progress keeper too. So I've put a couple of the minis in, and then that's the rest of the ones that will be going in each morning. It takes me about 2 mornings to work through a mini. So, and as it gets smaller, I anticipate being able to do more than 2 rows. At the moment it is quite long. There's a lot of stitches on that. And yeah, as I said, I love this. So pretty, and it's so soft. Jenny's the dye behind Woolly Goodness. Her sparkle base, it's a merino nylon, is super soft and plump and squidgy. So if you want a super soft, plump, squidgy base, check out Jenny's yarn. It's really lovely. Which is interesting actually, because the Kate Celine yarn is really thin, and I'm not a fan. I'm going to finish those socks, and I think it'll be okay when it's knitted up, but I'm not a fan of knitting with it. It's very thin. It's almost like knitting with lace weight. And I found out I'm a fan of plumper yarn. Right, so that's it. I thought I'd show you a couple of finished objects that I'm not sure I've shown you on either the vlog or a podcast. So first of all I got a advent skein of yarn from Spin and Blether, which is when they do 24 different colours. It's stripy, and I finished those, and I managed to keep up with that throughout Vlogmas. It was the one thing I actually managed to keep up with. In hindsight, next time, because I have such small feet, I mean they're size 5, but equally, I'm going to start, I'm not even going to bother using the contrast colour that comes with it. I'm just going straight into the stripes. I did a striped heel to get all the stripes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So if I hadn't done that, I would have had all 24. But yeah, I love them. I really love them, and it's an interesting base. It's quite toothy. I think these are going to be extremely warm, which, given, you know, cold weather and no heating, is quite useful. Right, so I'm going to take these off because I have another. It's all about the socks. I'm so sorry. So many socks. I've got another. I thought I'd show you these because I quickly watched back episode 133 last night just to see what I was working on. So there was a duffel coat on there that I was working on for Ira that I've actually pulled out, and I'm reclaiming the yarn because I just couldn't get it to sit right. I don't know what had happened, but the hood was awful on it, so I've given up on that. Have I got anything else on there? No, it just said I pulled out the duffel coat, that was it. And I think the other thing I was working on was my West Green Loft yarn baby blanket, which I did finish, but I'll talk about that in a moment of things to mention. So there we go. These are the Butterfly Blossom sock colourway. This is a colourway from Lay Family Yarn. Absolutely beautiful colourways they came out with just before my birthday last year, because I tagged my daughters in all of them, and I jokingly said I'd like each one of these please, and they bought them. I couldn't believe it. They bought me all of them, and I loved all of them. So this is the Butterfly Blossom colourway, and it came with this beautiful little mini, and from the cast on of the, it was a pattern by Larkspur Knits, and I can't remember the name of the sock. She did little bobbles in the cast on. It's so cute. So I did that on this. I've done a contrast little heel turn. It's another garter stitch heel turn. This makes a lovely soft and squidgy to stand on when you're wearing your socks. And the contrast toe. And I've made it a little ankle. So that's the sort of thing when I said about Charlie's socks, that I'm going to do like a little ankle. So not trainer sock, but like just a tiny ankle on it. And yeah, there are 2 of these. I've not worn these yet. Saving them for the summer. But they were a work in progress on the last podcast, so I thought it'd be quite nice to show you an actual finished object that kind of gives a little bit of continuity to the previous podcast. So what else have I finished? I finished a baby vertebrae, which if you've watched my crafty journal vlog snippet, you will have seen. That has gone to the baby. The West Green Loft yarn baby blanket is finished. I haven't got a photograph of that at the moment as a finished object. I've only got it wrapped with the baby wrapped up in it, and Katie doesn't want her face on social media, so I'm going to have to do some artful shots for me to show you the baby. So at some point I'm going to grab the blanket and just take a photograph of the blanket. And then yeah, the other thing was just the Butterfly Blossom socks. Okay, so other things to talk about. I think I'm going to do acquisitions first, just because it will get this off my desk, and then I can talk about other crafts. Yeah, should we do that? So I've got some happy mail. Number 1 is Ches Makes. Now, lovely person, Ches. I wanted some stitch markers with numbers on them so that I can put them on if I've opened my advents and I want to keep them in order, I can put them on the balls. So we've got 13 to 24 on that one, and we've got 1 to 12 on that one. I mean, obviously it could be useful for numbering rows and all sorts of things. But the communication, she's on Etsy, the communication was amazing. So these were a custom order, but yeah, she absolutely amazing. So check her out. If I do that, if I hold those out of the way, that's the web address. Yeah, very, very pleased with those. That's that one. Some of this I'm kind of opening as I'm going along. I had a delivery from the lovely elderflower stitches, which came with a couple of little extra gifts, and let me put those back in there. I think there's a couple of little stitch markers too. There's a little bee and a little flower. There we go. And then it was the last of last year's club. So this is the stitch marker club, and this is November. The tea that came with it is Snore and Peace Organic Infusion, which is a clipper tea. These are the very beautiful stitch markers, and this was the little tea bag that came with it, which I'm using as bunting across the back there. I don't know whether you can see any of them, but no, you can't, I don't think. Oh yes, you can. There. There we go. It shouldn't be this difficult, but yeah, so they're going along there as bunting. And that's November, and then this was December. Oh, I love these. This is so pretty. So that's December. And the theme of this one is 3 mint. I love this tea so much. 3 mint tea. Definitely a favourite tea. And they're the beautiful stitch markers. And then this is the lovely last little tea bag, which again, absolutely adore this. So cute. So it will go and join its friends behind me at some point. I also, at the same time, ordered some minis. So what did I order? I ordered the Nutcracker on Sparkle Sock. These are very me, aren't they? How beautiful. And these beautiful new yarn bands here. So again, this is elderflower stitches, and oh, they're so pretty. I love them. No idea what I'm going to make with them, but I love them. Squirrel time. Squirrel them away. Right, let me just throw everything back on in my basket so I don't lose any of it. And I've got 2 more acquisitions. The camera had stopped itself there, so I'm not too sure how much of that you saw. So I'm just going to show this again. I'm hoping it had only just gone off. So that's Lay Family Yarn, and it was the month 1 of the goose egg quilt. But yeah, I'm hoping that's only just gone off. And I was saying that there's a cast on party for that today, and but I may not be able to do it because I have family around for a roast dinner. Right, so let's have a quick look at other things I wanted to chat to you about. I have show notes. Who am I? First of all was my crafting planner. Now, if you've seen the standalone video of this, there's a snippet about it. This is the Tilly Flop craft planner. which I bought the other day because I wanted a knitting planner. So to start off with, it was just a knitting planner, but in actual fact I'm now putting all crafts in it, and the idea is that I fill in each day what I'm knitting. So I'm not going to give you a complete flip through because if you've already seen the video this would be really boring, but I'm putting sort of what I'm knitting on the day. So this, I started on the 11th of January. That's a stash in and out, so if I finish something it goes as an out, and if I've got acquisitions it comes as an in. I'm not putting the Lay Family Yarn stuff in here just because that happened before this was a thing, so that's sort of from December. But from January anything goes in there. I have got some beautiful West Green Loft yarn coming, which I'm very excited about. I'm not really doing any clubs this year, no clubs this year. I'm just going to buy yarn that I actually kind of see and like at the time, and try not to buy too much. I've got a page there which is my blanket progress, so today we'll have today's date and it'll have 2 rows on it because I did 2 rows. That's a picture of what it looked like when I started it. This is a spoiler for what I'm about to show you, but I was making polymer clay gift tags yesterday, and I put those in there because I could, you know, that's something, it was a craft that I was doing, I've written notes on it, and I kept a record, so I've got some photos. I'll show you those in a minute. That's my next thing I'm going to show you. That was day 2 of baby knits, so that was the little sock. That's how far I was on that day. That's a blank page at the moment, but these blank pages are what I'm filling in with the crafting things. That was day 3, that was yesterday. That was the garment I was working on, so that was the progress at that time. So today will be day 4, which is that page, and then I'll fill in about Charlie's socks on there, which I haven't actually started yet. But yeah, the blank pages, I'm just going to go back and go and fill in for anything sort of craft wise that I want to put in. And this, I think, is going to be an invaluable resource when it comes to planning the podcast. I think that is going to be really quite useful to be able to look back and see what I've made progress on, what I haven't worked on, maybe why I haven't worked on it as well. You know, I'll look back and go, oh right, okay, I missed that day. So yeah, the other thing I made, hanging out in my little jar, and yesterday I had a play with polymer clay. Nothing spectacular, mainly because my little what's the word, cutters, shapes that I have gone missing, but I did make a few little bits and pieces. So there's, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see these. They're very thin. I tried to make them quite thin, so these are going to be gift tags. This one says joy, with a little, and this is stamped, hand stamped, which I think is an absolutely brilliant idea. And these stamps are from a Christmas set, I haven't got them with me, from a Christmas set that I got from the So Re Me. And yeah, I used elements of that set. This one is my favourite. I love how that turned out. I have used a glaze on them, they are sealed. Oh, so pretty. What else have I got? I've got a leaf. I used a leaf stamp. So if you're somebody I normally send a present to, you can, oh, I quite like this one. This was a texture one, so it ended up looking like a tree. Yeah, if you're somebody I send a present to, you can very likely expect one of these to be attached to it. That was what I just did with the leftover tiny bit of clay, and it's, I thought it looked like a little bit of an Easter egg, so I've done an Easter egg with Ira's name on it, and I'm figuring I'm going to do her a little Easter box, and that'll go on it. So the others are repeats of the ones I've already shown you. So, oh, I've got a happy birthday one there. Wasn't too keen with how that came out. The writing on it's not great. I need to get a different happy birthday stamp, but I thought that looked really good. But But yes, this is just air dry. No, it's not air dry. It was oven dry. I had to cook it in the oven. Polymer clay with a glaze over top and then a little velvet ribbon attached to it. The ribbon's a bit thick, but I can't get hold of thinner ribbon, so if anybody knows where I can get hold of thinner velvet ribbon, please could you leave a comment below. Yeah, I love these. I love how they turned out. The back's a bit rustic in places. Oh god, didn't break. But the front's smooth. Should probably smooth the back, shouldn't I? Oh well, never mind. They are handmade. But I'm very pleased with them. They can sit in a jar and just, you know, hang out basically. Right, I think that's it crafting wise. Let's have a slurp of tea, coffee. Right. Things to mention. Right, number one is if you've not watched any of my vlogs since October, you will not know that sadly we lost Bella at the beginning of October. They think she had a stroke, and we had to make the sad decision to have her put down, and it was awful, and was the reason that my Vlogtober got off to a really shaky start, and I ended up putting up a load of videos that I took in September from Ireland. So it's kind of why I've not really been in front of the camera formally, because it's quite hard to talk about, but we have since then got a new addition in the form of a little Labrador pup called Raven, who's a little black lab, and she's gorgeous. She's so affectionate, like she's super affectionate. She just wants to cuddle the whole time, which was lovely when she was a tiny little puppy. Now she's best part of 5 months old, so she's big and she still wants to cuddle. But she's lovely. I'm surprised she hasn't made any noise. She's been really good. What else has happened? Panto. We have had our Panto run. I don't think I've got any video of Meg singing that I can add in here, unfortunately. The way it worked, the sound checks weren't done with singing, which is really annoying, and I didn't get a chance to video them, so I don't think I've got anything I can actually show you. However, poor old Meg spectacularly went down during, they had baggy trousers in the Panto, and she spectacularly went down during that number, and they think she's broken her scaphoid. So in the middle of it was the middle of the first scene, the first act rather, she went down, and they had to stop and go to the interval at that point. She, bless her, they managed to strap her up and she was good to go on. She wanted to go on, so she carried on. Very proud mummy. I was prompting that night, and there's this huge piece of scenery. It was Rapunzel, so the tower, it was coming on and off like a yo-yo, and you had to be really careful because you get hit by the tower. You knew about it. And she sort of came off stage and dragged me, and I was like, oh my god, the tower's coming off, it must be in the way. And I was like, wait a minute, the tower's not on, it's there. And I was like, oh, wait, what do you want? The tower's, I'm not in the way of the tower. She's like, and she's just pulling me with like a fire exit we used to go on and off the stage from outside, and she dragged me out the fire exit, and she was like, I've hurt my wrist. And I looked down, and all you could see was like this white lump, and I was like, okay, yep, that doesn't look good. Bless her heart. Luckily we had medical people within the cast, and they were looking at it, and they were like, well, you know, yeah, looks like it's broken, but it's up to you. You can go straight to hospital, or you can carry on. You know, what do you want to do? So she wanted to carry on, so they strapped it all up for her and put her in a sling, and she did the second half in a sling, and they just said that she'd been attacked by ruffians during the interval. She was principal boy. And then one of the crew very kindly contacted our local A&E, and they said that there was a 10-hour wait. So at this point it was 10 o'clock at night. So rather than do the 10-hour wait, we decided we would hold on at home. I made her as comfortable as I could overnight, and we went to our local walking centre, which is just down the road, for 8 o'clock in the morning when they opened. She got seen straight away, and yeah, it was done with really quickly, so that was fantastic. So it was probably, rather than spending the entire time which she was sort of comfortable in bed or waiting at the hospital, you know, it was better to do it that way around for her. So yeah, bless her heart. So that was dramatic. So that was the Friday morning. The Friday afternoon, I got a phone call from Dan to say, please can I head off down to the hospital because Kate was in labour. Now, I never planned on being there for Kate being in labour, but there was a small concern, and if she was going to have a cesarean section, Kate wanted me to be there to be with her, while if the baby had to go to NICU, Dan could be with the baby, which is fair enough. So I headed off down at the hospital. Luckily that was not the case. It was all fine. She delivered fine, no problems whatsoever. And Ira is just amazing. I know I'm her grandmother. Well, I'm not actually, I'm her nanny. I'm nanny. But oh, she's just so beautiful, bless her. She's just tiny. She's just tiny. Tiny but perfectly formed. So they had a few problems with jaundice, but that's all sorted now. They're home, and she's giving them a pretty easy ride, and Kate is already saying that she'd have a football team. This is coming from someone that's literally gave birth a week ago. Oh, bless her. And yeah, she's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And Nana's doing really well as well, bless her, because obviously her nose is a little out of joint, but she's doing so well. I went to visit, as you saw, if you saw the journal video, I went to visit, and I babysat Nana while they went to while they went shopping, because they wanted to go out shopping together and take Ira with them. And after I'd recorded said video, Nana and I curled up on the sofa and went to sleep together, and it was so cute because she fell asleep with her nose on my shoulder and we were just cuddling. It was so sweet. I love that puppy so much. And her and Raven get on really well. They're like best mates, so that's useful. So that's it, I think. I think I have chatted about everything on my list. So I'm really sorry for the absence. I'm sorry it's been so long. I need to find a slot where I can record that isn't probably Sunday morning, because I'm not normally around on a Sunday morning. Normally I would be away in the caravan and doing things like that. So this is rare, but I thought I'd take the opportunity. Not that I couldn't record in the caravan, but there's a lot of stuff I'd need to take with me, so probably wouldn't work. But I'm going to get this edited now, so I'm hoping it'll go up later on today. And yeah, try and get back onto some form of a routine with it all, because I miss you guys. It's been lovely over Vlogmas. Thank you so much for everybody who's commented, who's interacted. It's been lovely chatting back to you all. Oh yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Vlogmas this year. Normally by, I guess, about the 18th I run out of steam, but not this year. I could have carried on forever, but life events overtook me and I couldn't. Panto is full on. I need to remember next year that I'm not going to go between Christmas and New Year, because Panto takes over at that point, and I don't have any time, basically. I've got a lot of things I'm doing which I want to share with you. I'm probably going to put them out as snippets, and if they're not your cup of tea, you don't have to sit through them on the podcast. But I'm planning my life to perfection. I have got so many planners, and whereas last year I tried the one book method, where you use one book for everything, so you keep your book journal in there, you keep everything like your day-to-day stuff in there, your calendars in there, everything. This year I am doing if I can get a journal for it, I'm going to. I've book journals, I've got a work journal, obviously can't show you that one. I've got a meal planning and shopping journal, which I'd actually quite like to go through with you. I think that would be quite an interesting one to do. I've got my craft journal, I've got a finance journal. I'm not going to do that one on YouTube. But yeah, I've got a finance journal. I've got a healthy eating journal, which and when I actually start healthy eating, I was going to start using, but that hasn't happened yet. I've got a gardening journal. I've got a Christmas journal, which I actually need to fill in before I forget about stuff. I've got a home journal, well, which is all about, you know, tidying, cleaning and decluttering. Um, don't anticipate that one getting a huge lot of love, if I'm honest. I think that's it. I think that's it for my journals. I've got a line a day. I've got my normal everyday journal, which I haven't mentioned. So yeah, so I'm just journaling the life out of, you know, journaling the life out of my life. I've got a big weekly planner on my wall that's got all my meal plans on, but again, I will show you that. It's hanging up. I'll show you that during another planning video. So I might just do a few planning videos of bits and pieces that just to show you. Oh, and I've now got, because I got this yesterday, I was like, what am I going to do with this one? I've got a Paper Gang subscription, and I'm not going to carry on with it. Yeah, not overly keen. And this came in it. I was like, oh, what am I going to do with that? But then I was like, oh, do you know what? This, because in the back of it, it's got calendars. I'm going to use that as a planning journal for my YouTube channel. So this is all going to be about my YouTube channel, which actually I think is going to be really interesting. So this is my YouTube journal planner. YouTube and maybe social media. I might try and up my Instagram game a little bit, because I've been awful on Instagram recently. I am going to try and put a post up today to say that when this has gone live. That would be useful, honestly. So yeah, so I'm going to have a go at using this to plan that out, because I think that could be quite interesting. Right, I think I'm done. So I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I will see you next time. I'm not going to say next week just in case it's not, but I will definitely see you next time. Over the weekend, Ian has been to Portugal to carry out an examination flight for a fellow balloonist. And as part of that, he got to get a trip out in a light aircraft around the coast of the Algarve. So I am going to leave you now with some of the beautiful images from the Algarve in Portugal.